Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Julie Jung and this is my life in Germany. So I normally look in the little recorder thing there, but I'm gonna try looking at myself this time. Is this weird? I don't know. I'm gonna try. But welcome back. And I'm gonna say at the very beginning to subscribe, please. Helps me out. Like the video, comment, that stuff to get that out of the way before I start today's topic. Also, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas Day number 2. You know, in Germany, they celebrate Christmas for 2 days, December 25th and 26th. Everything is closed still today on the 26th, so I quite like that. Look, I'm going back to that. I don't know which one to do. What do I do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Here, here, here. Here, here, here. I don't know. Everything's closed today, which is fine. It's nice. I don't mind. I like having 2 days of celebration. So Merry Christmas. Hope you guys had a great one. It was quiet here. We just stayed home, obviously. What could we do? And it was quiet. So this video is a little bit vulnerable. And I'm going back. I don't know. Where do I look? I go back and forth here. I'm sharing today some of what James and I went through this past year personally. And I like to share my life. I like to tell my stories, and I feel like it helps other people feel like they're not alone in what they might be experiencing as well. So I am going to share with you what we went through earlier this year, and maybe someone else went through something similar, and this will maybe help you feel less alone. So here we go. Bear with me. I did a video in January. I think it was January, and it was like a Euro video, things you can find at the Euro store. And in this video, I jokingly had a pregnancy test, and I said, "Oh, this dollar pregnancy test won't work for nothing. This is worth nothing." But actually, at the time, my husband and I were wanting to be pregnant. That's a little inside. That's inside my life. There you go. A little nugget. We wanted to get pregnant in 2020. So I thought, I'll take this pregnancy test just so I know what I'm doing. I've never taken one before. So I want to make sure I pee on it right, or whatever you do. So I took that test and it was negative. Turns out I was actually pregnant. I was pregnant, and I found out a week later after doing that video. If you guys watched that, maybe I can link it in. I don't know how to do that. Don't know. But I took a test a week later and I actually was pregnant. So, joke on me. I really was pregnant when I did that video. Irony, the irony. So we got pregnant in January of last year, pre-COVID. We call that BC, before COVID. And I was terrified because it's scary finding out there's a thing inside of you growing, just growing in there. What's happening in there, I don't know. So all was well. Everything was really good through the first trimester. Everything was fine. I went for my appointments. Everything was good. All is well. And at the time, COVID started in March. So I guess James was allowed to come with me to appointments through the first trimester, and everything was fine. Then in March, after lockdown had happened, James was no longer allowed to come to appointments with me, so I was doing everything alone, which is pretty scary to begin with when you're pregnant for the first time and you don't know what to expect and what's happening. So I'd gone to an anatomy scan for our baby, and they found some very serious things happening with the baby. So we did a bunch of testing, a bunch of scans. I had to have an amniocentesis, which if you don't know what that is, good for you. you don't want to know. I mean, it's not gross. It's just not the most fun thing in the world to have done alone. Like, he was not allowed in there with me. And he was at work at the time. So anyway, we had to go back in. We had all the testing that confirmed the things they had found. I'm not going to go into all of it, but there were some serious things happening with our baby. And I called James. He came right from work, and he was not allowed in because of COVID, but because of the circumstances, the people at the clinic snuck him in the back way so nobody would know he was coming in, and they let him in, and they were doing other ultrasound scans, having other doctors come in, bunch of people looking at the scans to make sure what they were seeing was correct. And tests confirmed it. So we were in a very bad situation. Long story short, we ended up losing the baby. And I was 17 weeks at the time. That was in May that we found out what was happening. So we lost the baby, and I had to be induced to deliver the baby, which meant I had to go to the hospital, and I was induced just like I would have been giving birth normally. So what I really wanted to talk about here was my experience in the German hospital and how I was treated, and really sing their praises, because I had, for a very, very, very bad experience, I had excellent care, and the doctors were so sympathetic and compassionate towards me and what we were going through. Like, even when the ultrasound tech was telling me what was happening, I started crying, she started crying. Like, people were very human in my experience, and they didn't come across as cold or anything like that. Like, they were just so kind to me, and I want to really acknowledge how well I was treated here when all this was going on. Because, it's super overwhelming to go through something like this, even in your home country, when English is the main language and you are more familiar with the systems and how to do things and how things work. But when you're in a foreign country and you're pregnant to begin with, that's very scary. But then you add in all these other things on top of that, it's really horrible and scary. And add pandemic on top of that. So there were a lot of factors here. We had to get COVID tests done before we went to the hospital. It was such a process for all of this, and I had to do a lot of it alone, which was great. Not traumatic at all. Not at all. He was allowed to be with me through the delivery, thank God. And we weren't even sure if he was going to be allowed to be there during the delivery, but they pulled some strings, and he was allowed to be in the delivery room with me. We had our own room, private room, in the hospital on the delivery floor. And there were 2 beds. Like, we had a great setup. So I'm super thankful that we were here for all of this, because I am quite sure we would not have had that kind of situation in the States if we went through that in America. We had our own room, 2 beds. We had great meals. They gave us choices of foods. We got to pick out from a menu what we wanted to eat. Some of them spoke English. The nurses, the overnight nurse did not. That was not easy. You guys, you don't know. Like, you do not know what it's like. I could tell you all the details. I won't. The point of all this is to say how amazing the medical support here was. And even though overnight the main nurse did not speak English, she was so kind to me. I mean, I was having contractions, so I'm like writhing in pain. And she was just so kind and not frustrated with me that I did not understand German. And she did her best. Lots of hand motions. And lots of noises from me of like, like it was, birth is it's painful. It's painful. Let's just get that out of the way. Is painful. And I gave birth to our son, Gabriel, on May 13th, and he was not living. So, even when I gave birth, like I was crying, like I've never cried before. And the doctor that was there with me, delivering with me, she cried as well. I'm telling you, they were so kind. And she was just very patient with me and made sure I kind of understood to the best of the ability what was happening. I was not prepared for this. I've never given birth before, and to find out like in 2 days you're going to be giving birth. So get ready for that. You're going to deliver this baby now. And he was not big. He's a tiny little thing. Tiny, like we could hold him in our hands, precious little thing, but it was still very painful. So all of that, like I had to have an operation after the delivery, standard procedure kind of stuff, in and out. It didn't take long. And then I had to have some follow-up stuff as well. But all of that for both of us to be in the hospital, private room, each had a bed, full meals, full care, like operation. We had a bill for 30 euros. We paid 30 euros for everything. Wow. I don't know how much it would have been in America, how much insurance would have covered. I'm not sure. But we are super thankful to be here for all of that. And yeah, taxes are really high that we pay. And we pay a lot for insurance. I could do a breakdown. Maybe I'll talk about that later in another video. But we do pay a lot for insurance. But the taxes that we pay, we actually see where those taxes are going, at least. And we have a benefit of that when it's needed. It's really helpful. So it was a horrible yet amazing experience. And that's another reason why I kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. After that happened, I went to a very dark place, very, very dark place, and nothing mattered. YouTube, who cares? Like, I did not care at all about YouTube, about doing these stupid videos. Not that they're stupid. I mean, they're fun for me, but it just didn't matter. So we're thankful to be here. Thank you, Germany, and all the doctors. They were so kind to us, and our experience after. I'll talk about that later maybe, but the main thing was like our care while all that was happening was just phenomenal. And there are other things I want to share too, but I will do those in other videos because this is getting long. But I also am doing this to acknowledge the life of our baby, and I will not cry. It is really hard to go through something like this. And if you have gone through it or know someone who's gone through it, I feel your pain, and no one can really understand it unless you've been through it. Like, I had heard stories of people losing babies and going through really hard things like that, but I couldn't really fathom what that would be like, or I didn't understand what it meant or that feeling. And I understand now. Like, I get it. It is the hardest thing I've ever been through in my entire life. So it's not uncommon. Like 1 in 4 women have baby loss. So I know that I'm not alone, but it just feels like not a lot of people talk about it. And I am not one to not talk about things. Like, I won't tell you all the details of things, but I'm pretty open with my life. And if that's able to help someone, great. If not, that's fine too. Like, maybe you won't understand, but gosh, this is getting long. 14 minutes, dude. Do want to show you though, and this is for Gabriel, like I acknowledge, and James and I acknowledge that his life is real and valid. And here are his little feet. He's a real human. He's a real little human. I saw him with my eyes, fully developed. Like, he had serious medical issues, but he was developed, and that's his little feet. So, okay, woo, I got through it. I've cried so much in the last months. I don't know if I have very many tears left to cry about this. They do come, but I've healed a lot as well. So, thanks for listening. I just wanted to share what I've been through, and I might talk more about it in the future, different things we went through. But other than that, that's all I got with you. That's why I was not here for months and months and months and months and months. And I still don't know where to look. Here, there. And there's my circle light. Isn't that fun? Yep, there it is. I'm just so classy and tech savvy with these things. Okay, guys, just appreciate you. Like it, subscribe, comment, send love. Don't be mean. Don't you dare be mean on this video. This is not the video to be mean. I will find you. No, I will. It's fine. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.